One of my favorite experiences is when we fly out in the helicopter and we land on the top of the peak and you get out and the wind's blowing everywhere from the rotor wash and it's real loud. But then the helicopter takes off and then it gets real quiet. I force myself to just take 10, 20 seconds and just look down and just appreciate how beautiful and amazing it is. My name is Njord Roda. I'm the owner of Majestic Heliski. I was a helicopter pilot flying for the United States Army, moving troops from base camp into the mountains. So I left the Army, really had a chance to reset my life. I really like skiing deep powder, I really like flying helicopters, and I really like drinking beer. That was the genesis of the idea. We're approximately 2 hours from Anchorage. We've got thousands and thousands of acres to choose from, where normally you'd be fighting with 10,000 other people at a resort. We tried all sorts of different ways to advertise. We did print advertising, radio advertising, hosted parties at ski resorts, and we've gotten rid of a lot of that stuff. Video does allow us to make an emotional connection, especially if you're a skier and you see amazing skiing. Your brain is on fire and you're like, I want that. Majestic Heliski is an experience, and that's where YouTube comes in. They see the lodge, they see the dinner in our videos, they see the skiing and they get it. You know, you say a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000. We get about 40 to 50% of our new first-time heli skiers from YouTube. It's showing that our marketing dollars are well spent. If you have an idea and you have the guts to do it, you're going to be successful.
What an awesome story that was. And with that, we'd like to welcome you to Google Partners Connect, broadcasting live from the Googleplex here in Mountain View, California. We're absolutely thrilled to have you here with us today. My name is Teray, and I'm part of the Partners Marketing team here at Google. Today, we have an awesome lineup of speakers here for you. They're here to talk about growing your business with online video and how YouTube ads can help generate awareness for your brand. We're also going to take a closer look at some of the tips and strategies that you can carry out with your Google partner to make the most of your advertising budget. But before we get started, there are two things to remember. First, the Google partners in the room can help answer your questions both during and after our broadcast. And I'd like to call out that these folks have all been certified by Google to help grow your business online and are really true experts in the field. Second, we'd love to hear your questions and feedback on Twitter. Just remember, use hashtag PartnersConnect to join the conversation. Now, it's my pleasure to turn things over to our first speaker, Tabitha Solomon. Tabitha is a product marketing manager here at Google, and joining us to speak about the power of YouTube and how you can leverage its reach, viewer attention, and targeting to reach your next customer. Tabitha?
Thanks, Teray. Hi, my name is Tabitha Solomon, and I'm a product marketing manager on the Google AdWords team. In my role, I'm passionate about helping small businesses and agencies leverage YouTube in reaching their advertising goals. We have a lot of great content in store for you today. We're going to cover some of the macro trends taking place in the video space. We'll then go into the understanding the power of YouTube from its exponential reach and its engaged attention. And then we'll tap into the ad formats available for you and giving you some best practices to make sure you get the highest ROI on your advertising investment dollars. So a lot of great information. Let's get to it. So if we think back maybe just one generation ago, we find that it was very common that the television was a central hub to the household. The mom and dad and kids would plop down in front of the television and watch their favorite TV shows. So what was happening there? Reach was scarce. It was really hard to get your advertising in front of your audience outside of that sacred time together. And attention was plentiful, right? So there were only like 3 channels you could log into to watch. Fast forward to today, we find that the inverse is actually true. Now, with the proliferation of mobile devices, we're finding that reach is plentiful. You have content and video content on demand, and attention is scarce. So what does that mean for us as advertisers? It's getting harder and harder to reach your audience. And when you do, the question is, are they actually paying attention? Well, according to Nielsen, 31% of American adults are light TV watchers. That means they spend 2 hours or less in front of the television. About 1/5 of the US population has never even had cable in their households. And then those who are actually watching television, we find that less than half of them are actually watching the ads. So as a marketer, it's really important for us to be attuned to the trends taking place so we understand where customers are leaving and where they're going to view content. And that's really where YouTube comes in. Now, how many of you guys logged in today actually watched YouTube or watched it in the last month or so? No, really, raise your hand. Yeah, I am an avid YouTube watcher myself, and I bet you and others in the room have watched YouTube in the last month or so. Well, when it comes to YouTube, there's 3 key things I want you to walk away with today. One is that YouTube is really, really big and has the opportunity to put your product and service in front of your target customers. 2 is that YouTube has an engaged viewer base. You actually are able to tap into the attention of people watching and wanting to see your ads. And third is that we have a unique ability to precisely target people that matter to you. I'll also be sure to share some best practices around ad formats to make sure that you're leveraging our ads in the best way possible. All right, so YouTube is big, and YouTube is where people are watching. So just 3 weeks ago, YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki announced a few key milestones for YouTube. The first is that 1 billion hours of time is spent watching YouTube every single day. That is a lot of time. But I think another stat that's probably even more important is that 1.5 billion people are logging into YouTube each month. 1.5 billion people. Let's try to conceptualize, what does that mean? That means 1 out of every 3 folks around the world who have internet access are logging into YouTube. And if you're here in the US, that means 9 out of 10 folks that have internet access, 9 out of 10 are logging into YouTube each month. This is where America goes to get their content. And the last piece of information that I think is equally as important is when people come to YouTube, they're spending a lot of time there. We are finding that when viewers come to YouTube, they spend at least 1 hour on the platform consuming content on mobile devices alone. Okay, pop quiz question for you. What is the world's largest search engine? Okay, obviously that one's an easy one. It's Google. Here's a harder one. What is the second largest search engine? Now, if you were like me, the first time I heard that question, I guessed Yahoo, Bing. Turns out YouTube is the second most used search engine in the world behind Google. That really drives home the point that YouTube is a big and powerful platform, and it continues to grow. As a matter of fact, YouTube has grown 10x in terms of viewership since 2012. Okay, you get it. YouTube is a big platform. But YouTube doesn't just offer reach, it offers attentive reach. Now, if you're like me, when I'm watching TV and a commercial comes on, that's usually my cue to actually go take a snack break. So what's happening if an ad is playing? I hear it, but I definitely don't see it. And if you're also like me and you're mindlessly scrolling, I see the content, but I don't actually hear it. It's rare that I will actually have headphones on or have the sound on. These are trends that we're seeing across the place, and the data actually supports this. Now, something to know is when we're looking at YouTube, it's a lot different. We're finding that when consumers are viewing your ads, 93% actually have viewability, which means their eyes are actually seeing your message and your content. And that's compared to a 66% industry average. Now, when it comes to audibility, we're finding that our viewers have the sound on about 95% of the times, hitting it out of the park. So I then started to ask myself, does it actually matter if the viewer actually has the sound on or off or is actually looking at it? If you remove one of the two, does it impact the brand awareness and recall? And the research shows that it indeed does. What we now know is folks who actually see and hear an ad are twice as likely to remember your brand and 3 times as likely to remember your ad. So you want to make sure, as an advertiser, you're using a platform where you can both see and hear your message. Great. So YouTube has a wide reach to allow you to reach your customers. And it also has an engaged customer base. Now here at YouTube, we understand that people are consuming content differently, and we're making sure that we adjust our ad formats accordingly. So by leveraging these insights, we're changing things like making sure that we have more capabilities for a viewer to decide whether they watch the ad or not. And we're also giving people snackable versions of ads with just 6-second formats. So I'll walk you through 4 of the best YouTube ad formats and share some best practices so you can get the most out of your advertising dollars. So the first ad format to know is the skippable pre-roll. Now, users want a choice, and choice creates an ecosystem where the best and most relevant, useful ads win. So that's the great thing for users. What's great for you as an advertiser is you only pay when a viewer sees 30 seconds of your ad or they finish your ad, whichever comes first. So this is really a really incredible format because the advertiser gets to choose, and if they actually continue to watch the ad, you know that there's interest there, and you're only paying when there's interest there. So 2 best practices to keep in mind here. Because the viewer has 5 seconds to make up their mind whether they continue watching the ad or not, those first 5 seconds are crucial for you. You want to make sure that you have an attention-grabbing, compelling message that will keep the viewer interested in watching more. Secondly, if your primary objective here is to drive brand awareness, make sure to throw your name in there and highlight the name of your business within the first 5 seconds. That way, even if someone decides to skip it, you've still gotten more brand exposure. All right, so the next ad format to know is the pre-roll bumper ad. So we know that viewers have a shorter attention span, and we know that folks are more likely to abandon longer ads. So this is what helped us drive the creation of the 6-second pre-roll ad. So the question I often get is, can you really say anything worthwhile in 6 seconds? Well, the answer is yes. Not only can you say something worthwhile, but we know that 9 out of 10 viewers actually can recall an ad after just being exposed to the 6-second pre-roll. So a couple best practices for you if you decide to roll a 6-second ad. After leveraging a skippable ad that we just talked about, leverage the 6-second ads to make it snackable and fresh content to remind folks of your particular brand. So let me show you 2 of my favorite bumper ads. And these 2 will show you that bumper ads can work whether you're a small business or a large corporation.
Make wiping your little one's nose a much less painful experience. Get Boogie Wipes today.
Great. So that's Boogie Wipes. It's a small business that does the 6-second bumper ad incredibly well. They managed to get both the name of their business and what the product is used for within just 6 seconds. Great job, Boogie Wipes. Next, we'll take a look at Tide and how they leverage the 6-second ad.
He may or may not have just dug up the petunias. Tide Rescue restores up to 3 shades of white.
Again, a large organization or a small organization can leverage the 6-second ads to really refresh their message. But we'll admit it, bumper ads are hard to create in the sense that you have to say more with less. So you have to be really polished and creative to get your right message across. But you know what? This allows you to get different varieties of your content in front of viewers. So think about it. You might want to take that 15 or 30-second ad and slice it up into snackable pieces and continue to reiterate key parts of your message at different times to different audiences. So you're not spending a lot of money recreating production costs, but you're repurposing content you already have in a cost-effective manner. All right. So the next ad format is the companion banner. If you take a look at your screen here, there is a picture on the right-hand side. And in there, you'll see on the top right, there is a red box, and inside that box is BCAA. That is an example of a companion banner. And it actually comes with all skippable ads at no additional cost. It is complimentary anytime you run a skippable ad. That is a pro tip most people aren't aware of. And something else to note is that companion banner stays throughout the video, whether the person decides to view the ad or not. So another great way to get your brand out there. All right, and the last ad format we'll talk about today is the call to action overlay. So if you look at the picture on the right-hand side, that small black box is what we call the CTA overlay. So this is an added benefit we provide to all of our advertisers to ensure that people who come to your website or people who see your ad have an ability to have an action, whether you want them to sign up for a newsletter, visit your website, or actually purchase a product. This pop-up message is very similar to YouTube display ads and is designed to drive your audience to take action. Okay, so we've talked about how big YouTube is. We've talked about the engaged audience who's looking and who's seeing and hearing your ads. And we've talked about the different ad formats and best practices around each. Now we're going to get into precise targeting. Because Google owns YouTube, we understand customers' behavior. And as a result, we have the ability to help you precisely zoom into the audience and potential customers that matter to you most. So here are the 3 targeting methodologies that I'd love to discuss with you. The first one is core affinity and in-market audience. So that might sound like a lot of jargon. Let's break it down. Core affinity is really understanding your potential customer, and in this case, the viewer's interest and passion. So I'll give you an example. I myself am a novice tennis player. So just last week, I went to search and I said, what is the best tennis racket for a novice? Now, next time I go to YouTube and I'm watching a CNN video, I'll get an advertisement that's telling me about some of the best rackets on the market. And I love that because this is really tailored to me and what interests me today. Now, the next customer may just be a casual reader of a popular gossip blog, for instance. And they may see an article that Serena Williams is now pregnant. Congratulations, Serena. And in that article, they're just wanting to know what's going on with pop culture. That doesn't mean that person's actually a tennis fanatic. And so Google is able to understand this and use that to filter out when you're using your YouTube advertising. And then there might be the third viewer who's actually the tennis enthusiast. They watch rematches, they know the stats, they love the sport. And so here a high-end tennis product may be marketed to them on the YouTube platform. That's the power of the relationship between Google and YouTube. We really allow you to market to your customers in a way that no one else can. Now, you might recall that I mentioned there were 2 different targeting methodologies that were hot off the press. Here they are. I'm excited to share them with you as they were launched just last month. So the first one is life events that you'll find in the middle there. There are 3 opportunities for you to now market to folks in key points of their lives. The first is when they're getting married, the second is when moving, and the third is graduating college. Again, this allows you as an advertiser to be strategic and poignant in when you're targeting customers to make sure that you're getting the most out of your dollars. And then the third targeting technology is our consumer patterns. So again, I'll use myself as an example. I am someone who likes to go to the big box retailer for everything, whether it's to buy my groceries or to buy clothes or school supplies, you name it. But the next guy may want to actually go to 3 different spots to achieve all 3 of those different tasks. And see, Google's with the intelligence with search and maps, we're able to understand these important information about your customers. So you're putting relevant information to them while on the YouTube platform. This is really powerful, guys. You're able to tap into interests, passion, life stages, and patterns to make sure you target efficiently and powerfully. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, and I hope you understand the power of YouTube. I hope you understand the power of its reach, with the 1.5 billion folks coming to the platform each month around the world. And the engaged attention, the fact that over 90% of YouTube's audience actually sees and hears the message you put in front of them. And I hope you understand the power of the targeting to make sure that you're able to get your core message to the right audience at the right time. Now, if you have any additional questions, please make sure to reach out to your Google partner today. So, right?
Awesome. Thanks, Tabitha. It's really amazing how you can use the reach, targeting, and viewer attention of YouTube to make sure your message is heard by the right audience. Before moving on, I'd like to take a moment to highlight one important thing about our partners. Yes, they're all certified by Google, but what exactly does that mean? Well, it means a few things. To be certified as a Google partner, they must follow our best practices, pass a comprehensive advertising exam, manage a significant AdWords investment, and prove their ability to help businesses like yours succeed online time and time again. And with that said, I'd like to introduce our next presenter, Bettina Hahn. Bettina is joining us today to share some of the best practices around setting up your YouTube campaigns and some quick ways that you can implement with your partners right away. Bettina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tori. My name is Bettina. I work in the Global Product Solutions and Innovations team here in Mountain View, California. My team specializes in video creation and YouTube campaign strategies. And I'd like to continue by providing you with a few tips and tricks of how you can grow your business with YouTube. So first, I want us to take a step back, and I want you to understand the role of video as a marketing tool overall. So video advertising is very different compared to search advertising, display, or marketing advertising. So if you're a cooking school, for example, you want to be on Google search to connect with folks that are already looking for cooking schools or cooking lessons in San Francisco. And you want to leverage YouTube to display your cooking lessons to generate awareness. So YouTube is the place you want to be to put your message in front of the right people. So YouTube can support upper funnel objectives, but it can flex its muscle throughout the whole funnel. So it's the place to be if you want to generate awareness for your product or service, if you want to drive consideration, or if you want to drive additional traffic to your website. So if we take all the Google products, and by any means we have a lot, we have Google Search, we have Display, we have Google Shopping, and you place them along a funnel, it will look something like this. And the funnel basically illustrates a customer journey. As you can see, YouTube is on top of that funnel. It's the beginning of the customer journey. So basically, it helps you reach out to the relevant customers that are undecided, that don't know yet that you have the product or service that they're looking for. Whereas search, display, and remarketing or shopping ads, they help drive this potential audience down the funnel towards the final conversion. Remarketing helps you reconnect with users that have been on your website but haven't really decided yet that you have the product that they want. So it helps you grow loyalty among your target audience. So let's look at an actual example and take it from an abstract example to something more hands-on. But before looking at that example, I'd like to ask you a few questions. So think back, when was the last time you saw a YouTube ad, you clicked on it and purchased immediately? Show your hands. And when was the last time you were in Google search, you specifically looked for a product or service, you clicked on it and you purchased? Well, I certainly purchased more from the Google Search Network than from YouTube directly. And the reason for that is that we're in different stages of our customer journey. YouTube helps you connect with the people that are undecided yet. They're passionate about something, but they don't know yet that they actually want to purchase what you're offering. Whereas on Google Search, you just have to raise your hand as an advertiser, and the higher and the faster you raise it, the more likely it is that the user is coming to your website. So let's look at this example. This is an example of someone that is in the market for buying, let's say, a family van, and that lives in San Francisco. So this car dealer knows a thing about YouTube advertising, and he puts his message in front of that specific user. And because that user is only at the beginning of the customer journey, he will continue his research on the Google search network. Type in Sunnyvale Motors. And because the car dealer has also Google search campaigns up and running, so he will appear in one of the first search results. So because that user has seen this brand already on YouTube before, the likelihood of that user clicking on that specific search ad is pretty high. So let's say the user visits the website of the car dealer for the first time. The car dealer also has a remarketing strategy in place. So the cookie is been stored in the remarketing list. So at that time, from that moment on, the car dealer is able to reconnect with that user to remind him that he has the family van he's looking for. So let's say at some point after having received certain remarketing ads from that car dealer, the user comes back to the website and finally schedules a test drive and purchases the car. So this is obviously a best case scenario. Not all the customer's journey look like that, but this is just to illustrate and to show you how you can connect your YouTube strategy with all the other Google products that we have in place. And obviously, purchasing a car is not a decision that you're taking from one day to the other. It actually takes time. So it takes on average 2 months. So this should help you reconnect with the customer and help make him the decision to finally purchase your car, your brand. So you want to show your message only to the relevant people and not to throw advertising money out of the window. So this car dealer, he has done a great job only connecting to people that are interested in purchasing a car and only to people in San Francisco. So how did he do that? Tabitha already elaborated a little bit more on the targeting strategies. I want to take it a little bit step further. So in the past, advertising has been all about reach, generating reach, reaching the mass. Nowadays, we want to be a whole lot more precise and a whole lot more personal. In order to be able to be precise and personal, we have to have access to the right information. You as marketeers, you have to know what your user wants at all different stages in the customer journey. And if you have access to that knowledge, you can build very powerful brand strategies. So how does Google and ultimately you get access to those informations? Well, nowadays consumers spend basically all of their time consuming digital content. We watch videos, we purchase products, we plan trips, we share content with our friends and families, and all these movements create millions of consumer signals. And based on these signals, Google knows what people want and what they need. So basically, we leverage those signals, gather information of consumer recent purchase behavior, and in that way are able to understand what they're passionate about, what they're in market for buying, and what content they're choosing to interact with. So if we look at this slide, those are the 3 main targeting strategies we have on YouTube. So if we look at the first one, yes, we can target demographics, we can target age groups, gender, household income, parental status, and we can target different locations. That's pretty straightforward. The other 2 are a little bit more sophisticated. So the first one is the interest-based targeting. So here you can target interests and passions of people. As we heard earlier, we have affinity and we have in-market segments. So here the Google algorithm looks at people's behavior online. So let's say someone is passionate about gardening. So someone that's passionate about gardening will look at various websites, will read up on blogs, will really in-depth consume knowledge, will have a long session duration. So our search engine knows that this specific user is passionate about gardening. Whereas in market, this is, let's say, someone that is interested in purchasing a lawnmower. So the search behavior is very different. This person, this user, will be browsing various websites that are selling lawnmowers, will probably have been to price comparison sites, and will probably have abandoned 1 or 2 shopping carts already. So our system knows this person, this user is interested in market of purchasing this specific product. We have a huge list of various affinity segments and in-market segments, but if one of those segments does not really fit your business model, we have custom affinity segments where you can basically customize your own target audience. Remarketing, as we've mentioned earlier, is also a very powerful way to reconnect with your audience that has already been on your website. The third and last targeting strategy is the so-called content targeting. So we can use a combination of placement, keywords, and topic targeting. So here, this is a very good strategy if you know already what type of content your consumers are consuming online. So if you know that your target audience is really interested in cars, then you can select the topic category cars, and your video will only play in front of videos that are related to automotive. Whereas placements, you can select hand-picked movies that you know your target audience is consuming and only play in front of, let's say, 5 or 10 specific video URLs. So there are a lot of different targeting strategies out there, and depending on your customer's marketing budget, but also on their marketing goals, you have to be able to select the right strategy for your customer. Earlier, we've used the funnel to put all the Google products into context, and now want to do the same with using the YouTube strategies, the YouTube targeting strategies. So as you can see, on top of the funnel, we have demographics, geographics, and affinity targeting. Those are the broadest targeting strategies that we have on the YouTube platform, all the way down to remarketing, which is the most narrow targeting option. So the rule of thumb here in terms of bidding is the broader the reach, the lower the bid. So I get this question quite a bit. So if you starting on YouTube, if this is your first YouTube campaign and you don't really know what targeting strategy works well for your advertiser, we always recommend A/B testing. In terms of campaign structure, we recommend 2 to 3 ad groups, 1 targeting strategy per ad group, have the campaign run for a few days, and look at metrics like the CPV and the view-through rate to be able to optimize and modify. In case one of the ad groups doesn't get enough impressions, try increasing the bid. So we have talked a lot about campaigns, we have talked a lot about targeting, but what if you don't have the video creative? What if you don't have the right content to start running a YouTube campaign? Well, we have done some extensive research internally, and what we found is mostly large brands are on YouTube. The Coca-Colas, the L'Oreals, the GoPros of this world. Why is that? Well, because they have access to great creative agencies and they have the right marketing budgets in place. Small companies are not really present on YouTube, mainly for 3 reasons. First of all, they don't have a video asset. They don't have a great video creative. They don't have the skill to create one, and they don't have the marketing budget. So to put all these things in context and to come back to my earlier point of how expensive and difficult video creation is. When creating a video, you pay for the planning and concepting, you pay for the filming, and you pay for the editing. So all in all, you pay on average around $2,000 per video. And usually you want to use multiple videos to tell your story throughout the year. So it's a significant investment, especially for small businesses. We wanted to change that. We wanted to make video accessible for everyone. We think everyone should have the opportunity to tell their story with a video. So our team sat down and created an easy way of creating videos for everyone. So let me introduce you to the Director Product Solutions. We have 2 product solutions. One is an iOS-based app. It's a free video creation app that lets you create high-quality content for your business. The second solution is Director on Site. Here you can get a video shot by a professional filmmaker with a small advertising commitment of $150. So let's talk a little bit more about the app. Yes, we do have an app that guides you step by step through the whole video creation process. We have over 100 templates that are tailored to specific verticals and to specific business goals. We have videos that help you tell your business story, that help you introduce your business to new customers. We have videos that can help introduce new products. We have a whole lot of different video optimization targetings. The app tells you exactly what to film, when to film it, and even how to hold your camera to capture the best angle. It puts everything together. It even walks you through the audio recording, and it helps you choose the right music from a huge YouTube music library. So basically, you can create a video in less than 20 minutes and have it up and running on your YouTube channel. It's ridiculously easy to use, and it's really hands-on. See for yourself. The second solution is Director on Site. So Director Insight is our higher-end video creation solution. So if you don't want to create a video yourself, you can get the help from a professional videographer who will help you write a script, come to your site and film a video, and in less than 2 hours you have a professional video up and running on your YouTube channel. At the moment, Director Insight is available in 7 cities in the US and in 2 cities in the UK, and we're working on reaching full coverage within the US by the end of this year. So now we've talked a lot about how to get a video, how to set up a YouTube campaign, how to select the right targeting strategy. Now I want to talk a little bit more about how to measure the success of your YouTube campaigns. So measuring impact of brand campaigns in digital is still a challenge. When talking to marketeers, what we've heard are 3 main challenges they're facing. First of all, they're not measuring the right metrics. So a common mistake is thinking that YouTube will drive direct conversions. And as we saw earlier, by looking at the funnel, YouTube is on top of the funnel, working towards all the other products to drive those conversions. So it's not a direct conversion funnel. Second, industry research methodology leaves still room for improvement. And third, the results are often slow and not really actionable. So Google's solution here is so-called Google Brand Lift Survey. They allow you to assess the impact of branded activities and awareness. So what you can measure basically is everything from ad recall, brand consideration, awareness, purchase intent, and favorability, all attributed to only one single campaign. So one big advantage is that it allows you to improve effectiveness mid-flight. So how does those brand lift surveys work? Well, Google selects 2 different groups. One is the actual group and one is the control group. The research group will see your ad, whereas the control group will see different ads. And then Google gathers all the responses and has results as early as 2 weeks. So there are other different solutions of how you can measure your YouTube campaign performance. One is you can analyze direct visits via Google Analytics. You can also look at the lift in your search queries and the lift in sales via geographic A/B testing. So lastly, I want to cover one important topic, the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is where all your great video content lives. If you run a YouTube campaign, you will drive traffic not only to your website, but also to your YouTube channel. So you have to make sure your YouTube channel is in great shape. What I see happening in a lot of cases is that advertisers have linked the wrong YouTube channel. They've linked their personal YouTube channel. So the experience for the user is not really great because they're directed into a YouTube channel where you have maybe your private Justin Bieber videos or family videos up and running, so it's not really the best experience. What we recommend is you want to optimize your channel and your videos for organic engagement. What does that mean? So basically you want to rearrange your YouTube channel like a storefront. You want to leverage our interactive features to drive additional referral traffic, and you want to be searchable on YouTube. And I will dive into the specifics right away. So a YouTube channel is similar to a store. A store has a sign that specifies what this store is selling. Your YouTube channel should too. A store is also organized so that the customer finds the various products they're looking for in an easy way. Usually think about like a department store. You have the section where you can buy bread, you have the section where you can buy frozen food, so you know where to find what you're looking for. Same thing for your YouTube channel. So the key takeaway is the easier you make it for a user to navigate, the longer they will spend on your YouTube channel and consume your content. A few actionable tips here. We recommend adding a YouTube channel trailer to introduce your company. You can leverage fresh content, or you can incentivize users to subscribe to your channel. Again, we talked about this, organize your channel so that users can navigate easily, create sections and subsections. Especially if you have a company or a business that has a broad product portfolio, you wanna organize the channel to like fit the various product sections. Lastly, add custom video thumbnails to your videos so that you encourage users to watch. What we see is that 90% of the best performing videos on YouTube, they're using a custom video thumbnail. Don't underestimate referral traffic. Leverage all our interactive features to help drive referral traffic to your website. One is the end screens. They are great to drive additional engagement. End screens will appear after your video finished playing. You can promote your content, your website, or your channel. Another one is the call to action overlay that drives users to your website. So it basically is the doorstep from the YouTube platform to your website. The call to action overlay will show at the beginning of the video as soon as the video starts playing. So what advertisers often forget is that YouTube is a search engine too. And what we've heard earlier, it's the second largest search engine after Google. So you want to optimize your content like you're doing with your organic search ads. You want to make sure that your videos, the title is concise, attention-grabbing, and summarizes the video in basically one word. You want to add one or two lines of description so that the users know and understand what they're about to watch. And you want to add tags to help people find your content and be sure to keep them up to date. So that brings me to my last point. I know we've covered a lot of ground in the past few minutes, and it might feel overwhelming because we have a lot of different targeting strategies, we have a lot of different ad formats and measurement opportunities. That brings me to my final recommendation. Get the help you need from a Google partner. There's tremendous value in working with Google partners, and I really hope you will contact one to help you get started on YouTube. Thanks very much for being with us today. I wish everyone best of luck with their online advertising pursuits.
Awesome. Thanks, Bettina, for highlighting some of the key opportunities that folks can take into account right away. Next up, we have our live Q&A session. We begin keeping track of your questions on Twitter, and we'll do our best to answer as many as we can. It's not too late to ask. Just use hashtag #PartnersConnect. Let's go ahead and get started. Awesome. So our first question is from Emily from Miami. What are the best practices for creating videos on YouTube?
So one of the best practice is that in terms of video format, we recommend videos that are about 30 seconds long. And as Tabitha highlighted earlier, you want to make the first 5 seconds engaging. Make sure you have your brand out there. Make sure the videos include a call to action. What do you want the user to do after watching the video? Do you want them to purchase? Do you want them to subscribe? Do you want them to fill out a form? Really make sure you highlight whatever action you want them to take.
Awesome. Next up, Joe from Austin wants to know, how do I set up companion banners and call to action overlays? Do I need to have an AdWords account?
I'll take that one. Awesome. It's a great question, Joe. So we covered 4 formats today. That was a skippable, the 6-second bumper ads, companion banner, and call to action overlay. All 4 of them require you to set up in your Google AdWords account. Now, something specific to mention is for companion banners and the call to action overlay, it's going to be crucial for you to actually link that with your YouTube channel. So Bettina gave you some best practices about how you would go about setting that channel up. And for those particular formats, it would be required that you link it with your YouTube channel.
Perfect. Awesome. So Olivia from Los Angeles asks, how should I fight my skippable and bumper ads to make the most of my investment?
Great question. So what we recommend is that you use your skippable ad to introduce your business. So it should be your first YouTube campaign to get started, and then use bumper ads to remind advertisers and to keep your brand basically on top of your mind. You can leverage them with a remarketing strategy. That's usually one of our internal best practices.
Perfect. Next up, Denise from Seattle. On search, I pay for every time someone clicks on my ad. How does pricing work for YouTube?
I can take that one as well. So pricing is a cost per view pricing model. And as Tabitha already highlighted, is that you pay after someone watches 30 seconds or more of your content. Just to put this into perspective. So for Facebook video ad, you pay after someone watches 3 seconds. So it's like a different level of engagement. And we at YouTube, we take a lot of pride in making sure we only make advertisers pay for really engaged viewers. So it's either someone that watches 30 seconds or more, or interacts with your video in a different way. Like, for example, clicking on a companion banner, clicking on the call to action overlay, so interacts with your video in some way or the other.
That's awesome. Next up, Carlos from San Francisco. What is the process for Director on Site? Will someone really come out to make an ad for us?
Yes, we get this question a lot. So Director on Site basically is a website where you can sign up. You can select your city. They automatically connect you to a videographer that's in your area. The videographer will reach out, will help you via phone to create a great script, and then schedule a date where that works for you. They will come to your business and they will set everything up. They have all the equipment they need to create that video. You just need yourself, your awesome storefront, maybe your employees, some of your customers to tell your story.
Sweet.
One thing I'll plug in there, we've recently launched the youtube.com/ads website. And on that site, you can see some great examples of ads that have actually leveraged the YouTube on Site service to create awesome ads.
Perfect. Next up, Cameron asks, can you regulate the demographics of viewers if you advertise on YouTube?
Yes, great question. So you can start with an A/B test. So you can A/B test various demographics that work for your company. If you're not really sure, it's a great way to understand a little bit more who are the engaged viewers. So let's say you target everyone that is between 15 years old and 30 years old. So you will be able after a few days to see where your engaged viewers are coming from. Maybe it's like your video talks a little bit more to like the 25 to 30 year olds. So you will be able to modify on the go.
Perfect. And we got our first question from across the border in Canada. Lovepreet from Toronto asks, can we bid in YouTube to increase our reach and visibility as we do in AdWords?
Yes. So maybe do you want to?
No, go for it.
Sorry. I'm on a roll here.
You are. Nailing
so
it.
basically, what a lot of people forget is that a YouTube campaign basically runs in your AdWords account. So you're able to make whatever modifications and adjustments you want mid-flight. So you're able to increase, decrease bids, to increase and decrease targeting, to like optimize your campaign as you go.
Awesome. Alex from Houston says he's watching the live stream. Thank you, Alex. Can you give an example of a custom affinity?
Sure. Custom affinity is a target audience that we really recommend, that we saw really, really great results with. So let's say you have a company that is a little bit more like a niche. So if you're familiar with our in-market segments, they're like broad segments, people that are in market for purchasing like consumer goods, electronics. If you have a little bit of a more niche product, you want to use custom affinity. And you can create a custom affinity by using a combination of 5 to 6 URLs that are relevant for your business, where you know your potential target audience is really present, and 5 to 6 keywords. And what our algorithm does is it groups everything together, and it shows you a representation of what that target audience would look like. Mm-hmm. So it really shows you how many people from various different age groups would be included in that custom affinity audience. So I would really, really recommend, highly recommend to set it up.
Awesome. Seems people are pretty excited about the on-site. And Kelsey from Minneapolis wants to know if we can share the markets that Director on-site is currently operating in.
Sharing in a sense of like
what are those cities?
What are those cities?
Like New York.
So we're currently present in New York, Atlanta, San Francisco, Chicago, Portland. I'm not quite sure. I have to double check on the website, but it's like the main cities in the US. Mm-hmm. But we will soon be present in like basically every city in the US that you can imagine.
That's and not to give you any homework, but if you do a quick Google search on Director on Site, all 7 cities are listed.
Perfect. Next, Sage Frog Marketing asks, any best practices for B2B video marketing?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's a good question. Yeah. So we usually recommend very, very narrow targeting. So starting probably with a combination of remarketing and in-market segments. Mm-hmm. So if you set up remarketing, you basically have a list of everyone that has been on your website before, so that previously showed an interest in what you have to offer. Especially what we see with B2B is the customer journey is a whole lot longer. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure you capture that user and you can re-engage him with a video. Especially B2B, like they usually have more complex business models, so video is a great opportunity to talk about the product in an easy, digestible way. So start with a combination of remarketing and in-market, because if you think about the funnel that we talked about, they are more like the bottom of the funnel. So you want to make sure it's like only the very relevant people.
Perfect. Next up, McKay Advertising is a little bit confused about the difference between behavior and interest targeting and content targeting. What's the difference there?
You're nailing it. So, you know, my mom always says when someone's nailing, you just let them keep on sailing. So.
It's a great question, and it's what a lot of people get confused with. So basically, interest-based targeting here, you target the interests of users, whereas with content targeting, you're targeting the content of the video your ad pre-rolls in front. So let's say, on the YouTube platform, all the videos that are uploaded that are related to automotive, they are placed into the content category automotive. So you as an advertiser, you can say, I want my videos only to pre-roll in front of automotive related videos, so this is what you're selecting. Whereas on the interest-based segment, you're targeting people that are actively in market for like looking online. They're based on their purchase behavior. Our system knows that they are interested in purchasing a new car. So it's like the content of the video that you put your video in front versus the interest of the user based on their search behavior online.
Perfect. More interest for on-site. Cowan Cinematography wants to know, how do you choose what companies will film for you? And I think what they're getting at is, how do we ensure that the videos that are going to be produced are quality?
Yes, great question. We have actually videographers working for Google that are certified to create videos. So we only have really professional videographers that are coming to your site. They undergo a training before they are coming to you. So they really have in-depth knowledge about all the specifics that you need to take into account when creating a video.
Perfect. And I think with that, we're just about out of time for questions. I wanted to thank both of you. I found it extremely informative myself and really appreciated hearing from you. And with that, we'd like to kind of thank all of you for joining us across North America as well. We hope you found the live stream today informative, but whether you did or didn't, we'd love to hear your feedback. Please share your thoughts with us on Twitter or at g.co/partnersconnectfeedback. Now, as one last reminder, the partners in the room are all really true experts on all the topics we covered today and more than ready to assist you in setting up and managing your YouTube campaigns. We thank you again for spending this past hour with us, and on behalf of all of us here in Mountain View, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.